Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at Cross Guild, Crocodile, Mihawk, Buggy. They are here as an anniversary exclusive legend, and in today's video, we're going to be diving into some other areas of content that isn't the treasure map for this particular unit. Now, this character comes as the treasure map legend, however, because we are in the middle of the worldwide celebration, they are an anniversary exclusive, and because they're an anniversary exclusive legend, it means they're a little bit stronger than what an exclusive treasure map legend may look like. They are a rush character with super EX, so automatically very, very powerful, plus they're a double class super EX, which makes them so disgustingly strong when you activate that EX ability. Just like EX Big Mom, with the ability to be a driven powerhouse, this particular unit can turn driven and slasher characters into super driven and slashers, which means they get a 1.2 times snap boost, and having a double super class just elevates that even more. On top of that, whilst driven isn't exactly the strongest class in the game at the moment, slashers definitely are. So we're going to be taking a look at Kawamatsu here and funneling into the cooldown spectrum of what Cross Guild can do. Now, just like Treasure Map Crocodile and the counter mechanic, this particular unit does different things depending on how many times you've used their special. And the idea of the character is to use the special, get 13 turns of cooldown, and then proc the second slot of their special, and then third special. It's kind of like a pseudo triple special activation. However, each stage has a different part. With their special, they have a new mechanic as well, which they apply a target activation, as you guys can see right there on Raizo. Plus, if you kill something with that target activation, they actually give 2 turns of cooldown to whatever unit actually gets the kill. Plus, if you use something like AoE damage, like Mihawk, or use themselves actually, because they can do 1 million fixed damage to kill, they're going to do some really, really nice stuff in that particular regard. However, the unit does have a few holes, which I'll talk about throughout the video, in terms of the cooldown mechanic and how their cooldown actually sits. To get the most out of this unit, you really want to limit break expand them, and to have that expectation of a unit to get the full potential of the character on release, just by the basis of what their special does, it's a little bit annoying. But as you guys can see here in Kawamatsu, you can get that pseudo triple special activation without using the limit break expansion. However, it does take a lot of characters that can actually give you cooldowns just to allow the unit to actually pop off that triple special activation. If you can get it though, you get a chain boundary, you get increased damage taken with resistance, you get a final tap buff, you get an orb boost, and you get that 2 times extra damage to the target lock enemies. But another really cool thing they do is, as a captain, is they completely remove despair. Now, as a captain, they reduce the cooldown of driven and slashes by 1 turn, which is great, and then they boost their own cooldowns by 3. So you're getting 4 turns of cooldown just to this character alone. Now, as a captain, that's exceptional, but as a sub, they're on a pretty high cooldown at 16 turns, which is kind of nuts. They boost the HP of driven and slash characters by 1.3, and then their attack by 5.5. However, if they are a cost of 40 or less, or themselves, they're a 6 times captain. Now, stereotypically, you're not going to be running 40 or cost lower characters. However, you can use something like Sugar. So, as you guys see here over in Dofi 1, we're actually using Sugar because when you use the Sugar special as a driven, you turn all of your sailors or all of your units into bears, which all have a 40 cost. However, Sugar herself, any kid character like Momo, S-Hawk, they all have a 40 cost anyway. You also get a 20% damage reduction, makes tandem orbs beneficial for all characters. And if you do get despaired, like you guys saw just there on stage 2 of Dofi 1, they turn all despair, no matter how many turns it is, to 2 turns of cooldown on themselves, or the top row, which is exceptionally strong because of what you need to do with their special. Now, if you do use their special, you automatically get 13 turns of cooldown. Just like you guys saw there against Hack, you applied that damage lock, and then you need to use their special again. However, if you kill something with that damage target, they give themselves 2 turns of cooldown. However, after you've killed something with that damage target, you can activate their Super EX. Now, it's a bit of a hole in the unit, only allowing you to use that after you've killed something with that target lock ability. However, if it was like you just apply it and then you just get that Super EX, it would make it a lot better because their Super EX gives 2 turns of cooldown. However, the first part of their special gives you that flat rate of 2 times extra damage with the set target ability. They also give 2 turns of cooldown to whoever actually kills that, plus they give themselves 13 turns of cooldown. On the second effect, they do increase defense up threshold by 6 turns, 1 million true fixed damage through normal attacks only, boost orb effects of driven and slashes by 2.75 for 2 turns, and then it gives them 13 turns of cooldown. The final effect reduces despair by 6 turns, which is really odd because they just remove despair themselves, and they also set the chain boundary from 3 times to 20 times for 3 turns. They also give 20% resistance for driven and slasher characters, and then they change the next launch effect to 0. So then you go all the way back to the start. So it's a very interesting choice to make the final stage 6 turns of despair when they just completely remove despair in their kit. The 3-turn chain boundary is kind of weird because, like, ideally this should be on stage 2 because then you would get the carryover into the final stage and then get the cooldowns, because if you don't have this character's Limit Break expanded, they're on a 16-turn cooldown. At 15 at Limit Break expansion, but 16 turns is very odd, seeing as they're giving 13 turns of cooldown every single time, and then they're also doing all this weird stuff with 2 turns of cooldown, with their Super EX, with killing a character with set target. It's a very strange choice to give them 2 turns, and despair. If you get despair, they give 2 turns of cooldown. So it's just a very weird choice to do that every single time when the character's on a 16-turn cooldown. It doesn't make all that much sense. However, if you do have them Limit Break expanded, it just all works out pretty nicely, right? Their Super EX, after you defeat any enemy with a set target, or you have 2 of the following characters, Galdino, Mogi and Richie, Kalbaji, Alvida, Dazbones, Zoro, Perona, or Shanks. Nice little addition at the back there of Shanks, Perona, and Zoro, by the way. If you have any of those, like 2 of any of those characters, you just get it. However, you can get it very easily with themselves. They reduce 2 turns of cooldowns to all characters, and then they add to the final tap of driven and slasher characters by 20%, also applying another 15% resistance for driven and slashers, and then turn all driven and slasher characters into super driven and super slasher. So, very, very powerful Super EX, and if you have everything working in the sense of enough cooldowns and Limit Break expansion, the character functions really well by themselves. However, if you don't have them Limit Break expanded, you're going to be bringing a lot of cooldown reduction, stuff like the Galdino and the Buggy Pirates Alvida character that give cooldowns. They all work really, really nicely. However, you are sort of segregated into building stuff like mono-driven teams, when really slashers hold just so much more value. As you guys saw over in Dopey 1, you can do some really, really fun stuff with like Sugar, and then you can do stuff with like Zoro and Sanji, turning everyone into slashers, and then using Sugar to turn everyone into bears to get the full 6 times multiplier. Everyone's getting super class, and you're doing some really nice stuff there. But remember, if you can bring driven slasher characters like the cross-guild unit themselves, you're gonna get the most effectiveness out of this unit. But being a driven character, being a slashing character, being a quick character, means they have a lot of really good hybrid options. And over here on PKA level 150, we can hybrid them up with the new Blackbeard as well, the Super Tandem Worldwide Celebration Anniversary Blackbeard. And that all of these teams work exceptionally well. So we're gonna take on level 150 and sort of try and get all of this shenaniganry going with the new cross-guild unit. So we apply the set target on turn 4, and that means when we kill this Boa unit right here, it's going to allow us access to the Super EX on the final stage. So the downside to this is that we lose that set target ability, and now we don't have the conditional 2 times buff. If you're versing something like a final boss or something like that, it's very rare that you're going to be able to get all 3 parts of the special in one turn, because you need to set the target lock, then you need to activate the Super EX, which means that you are bringing 2 of those characters that we spoke about earlier, and then you need to get another 2 turns of cooldown after that, and stereotypically you'd have to kill a mob with the set target for that to work. So it's just a really weird way of having this unit work perfectly by themselves without any other support. So I do find this is going to be a very good end-game character, and one that'll work really, really nicely if you have a very established box. Now, as you can see here, we're using the cross-guild special before using Galdino, because Galdino gives us 2 turns of cooldown. the support of the Buggy Pirates is actually really good for this unit and definitely helps out a lot. But a way that you can use the character, if you have them Limit Break expanded, of course, is to use their special on turn 4, move into the next stage, and then ideally you'd be able to get their special off, you get the Super EX, and you can activate the back part of their passive. But again, if you do this, you do lose that set target ability. And remember, that set target ability is a new ability that just allows you a free 2 times damage no matter what. Now, if you can get all 3 of this to proc in 1 turn, you're going to get a lot of extra buffs. You get an Orb buff, Chain Boundary, Resistance, Final Tap buff, 2 times just flat rate of damage. And it works really nicely. Plus, you have utility. But the difficulty to get that to all to work, it's something that may or may not happen. But that's going to wrap up the video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there, build the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this unit. And I'll catch you all in the next one.